And this you should not do. You should not say he's an animal. Should not say he's Jacko. I'm not a Jacko. I'm Jackson.
Michael Jackson was one of the most photographed people in history, with cameras trailing him almost everywhere he went. Yet for someone the whole world felt like they knew, he was remarkably hard to read. No matter what was going on around him, Michael typically kept his feelings guarded. Whether he was on stage, sitting through an interview, or facing some of the toughest moments of his life, he rarely let his emotions take over. But once in a while, something shifted. There were moments when Michael opened up in ways people weren't used to seeing. Whether during an interview, a speech, or a performance, those moments revealed a side of him that usually stayed hidden.
The minute it became the all-time best-selling album in history in the Guinness Book of World Records. Overnight, they called me a freak. They called me a homosexual. They called me a child molester. They said I tried to bleach my skin. They made everything to turn the public against me. This was all complete conspiracy. You have to know that.
Michael steps onto the stage to pay tribute to James Brown, the man who inspired him long before he ever became a global star. As soon as he starts speaking, it's clear how much this figure truly means to him. There's no performance here, just real admiration from someone who never forgot the people who shaped his journey.
I couldn't refuse to give this award tonight because nobody has influenced me more than this man right here. And I'm happy from the bottom of my heart. Since I was a child, at 6 years old, he was the one that I looked up to more than any other entertainer.
Michael brought up James Brown more than once, and each time, the admiration was unmistakable. You can hear the respect in his voice, and it never sounds like a rehearsed speech. It feels real. Even with everything Michael had achieved, he never carried himself as above the people who inspired him. In moments like this, he's simply a fan expressing gratitude for someone he never stopped admiring.
The greatest inspiration. Ever since I was a small child, no more than like 6 years old, my mother would wake me no matter what time it was. I was sleeping, no matter what I was doing, to watch the television to see the master at work. And when I saw him move, I was mesmerized. I've never seen a performer perform like James Brown, and right then and there, I knew that was exactly what I wanted to do for the rest of my life because of James Brown.
The longer he talks, the clearer it becomes how deeply this affected him. There's frustration in his tone, but there's genuine sadness too. He's simply speaking from the heart, letting real emotion show.
I will say that I am particularly upset by the handling of this mass matter by the incredible, terrible mass media. At every opportunity, the media has dissected and manipulated these allegations to reach their own conclusions. I ask all of you to wait and hear the truth before you label or condemn me. Don't treat me like a criminal.
5. Confrontations. Seeing him face the cameras like this feels different. This isn't Michael Jackson the entertainer. This is a man trying to be heard during one of the hardest moments of his life. I have been forced to submit to a dehumanizing and humiliating examination by the SAW.
Humiliating examination by the Santa Barbara County Sheriff Department and the Los Angeles Police Department earlier this week. They served a search warrant on me which allowed them to view and photograph my body, including my penis, my buttocks, my lower torso, thighs, and any other area that they wanted. They were supposedly looking for any discoloration, spotting, blotches, or other evidence of a skin color disorder called vitiligo, which I have previously spoken about. The warrant also directed me to cooperate in any examination of my body by their physician to determine the condition of my skin, including whether I have vitiligo or any other skin disorder. The warrant further stated that I had no right to refuse the examination or photographs, and if I failed to cooperate with them, they would introduce that refusal at any trial as an indication of my guilt. It was the most humiliating ordeal of my life.
You can see the weight of everything he's carrying. There are moments where he pauses, almost like he's pushing through the emotion just to keep going. Michael rarely allowed the public to see him this exposed. He's standing before the world, trying to put an incredibly painful experience into words. And even after going through
The indignity of this search, the parties involved were still not satisfied and wanted to take even more pictures. It was a nightmare, a horrifying nightmare. But if this is what I have to endure to prove my innocence, my complete innocence, so be it.
6 as Michael winds his statement down, his tone shifts. The frustration fades into disappointment, and he lands on something that always mattered deeply to him. It's a quiet moment, but one that feels intensely personal. Throughout my life, I have only tried to help thousands you.
Help children all over the world. It is of loving children of all ages and races. It is of gaining sheer joy from seeing. But if I am guilty of anything, it is of giving all that I have to give to help children all over the world. It is of loving children of all ages and races. It is of gaining sheer joy from seeing children with their innocent and smiling faces. It is of enjoying through them the childhood that I missed myself.
The interviews only get tougher from here. This time things take a more direct turn, and you can see just how strongly Michael reacts. His answer comes without hesitation, and the emotion is clear from the start.
The allegations that were brought by the district attorney in Santa Barbara that you molested this boy.
Totally false. If I would hurt a child, I would slit my wrists. I would never hurt a child. These are totally false. I was outraged. I could never do something like that.
This is a kid you knew.
Yes.
How would you characterize your relationship with this boy?
I've helped many, many, many children, thousands of children. Cancer kids, leukemia kids. This is one of many.
8 Then the interviewer brings up one of Michael's past comments and asks about something that had drawn criticism for years. You can see the mood shift again. He answers directly, clearly trying to explain how he sees things. You can tell he wants the audience to understand his point of view. That
British documentary last February, which you didn't like.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
You said in that documentary that many children have slept in your bedroom. You said,
Yes.
and I'm going to quote here, "Why can't you share your bed? The most loving thing to do is to share your bed with someone."
Yes.
As we sit here today, do you still think that it's acceptable to share your bed with children?
Of course. Of course, why not?
from the second it comes up, you can tell this isn't something he's willing to let slide. There's a firmness in his answer. Rather than joking around or steering away from it, he tackles it head-on. It's a different side of Michael than people were accustomed to seeing.
And I have to say to the driver, I say, slow down. I jump in. I said, you're going to kill us. I say, slow down. I've done that many times. Going to kill us. So he jumps out of the car and yells at these people.
You know, there is that argument that you rely on publicity to sell your albums, for your concerts.
When I approve of
You want
something,
it.
yes.
But you can't always control the press. You can't approve of everything. You can't invite them in again and again, and then at a certain point close them out.
Yes, you can.
Well, how do you do that? What is that line?
And by doing that, this is their time for this, and this you should not do. You should not say he's an animal. Should not say he's Jacko. I'm not a Jacko. I'm Jackson.
How do you feel when they call you Wacko
Wacko Jacko. Where'd that come from? Some English tabloid. I have a heart and I have feelings. I feel that when you do that to me. It's not nice. Don't do it. I'm not a wacko.
From there, the conversation shifts into more personal territory. The interviewer suggests that Michael's appearance and lifestyle naturally drew the attention he got. It's a direct question, and in that moment, you can tell she's pushing back on how he viewed the situation. I don't want this to sound insulting. I'm just going to be straight with you.
I don't want this to sound insulting. I'm just going to be straight with you. But you are somewhat eccentric, to say the least. The way you dress, the way you look, it invites attention. The whole appearance as you grew up was larger than life, more extreme. You don't think that calls the paparazzi to you?
No.
No?
No. Maybe I like to live that way. Maybe I like to dress that way. I don't want paparazzi, really. But if they come, be kind. Write the right kind thing to write.
This is one of those interviews where Michael isn't focused on protecting his image. For a brief moment, he lets people see what genuinely mattered to him. It's probably one of the most honest answers he ever gave.
Very kind. I met her first at my concert in London. She was very kind, very loving, very sweet.
What did you two talk about?
I wrote a song called Dirty Diana. And it's not about Lady Diana, it's about certain kind of girls that hang around concerts or clubs. You know, they call them groupies.
The groupies. Mm-hmm.
I've lived in that all my life. You see these girls, they do everything with the band and the, you know, everything you can imagine. So I wrote a song called Dirty Diana.
If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and let us know your thoughts down in the comments below.